Hey, good evening, and how is everyone today? I just need to make sure I've got this on mute. Yeah, so yeah, Clare is joining me shortly. Let me see. Yep, so let's hope this goes smoothly. We're going to be talking all things Scotland's wild medicine. So let me just see. Give me 2 ticks. It's always a bit tricky when you're doing this the first time because, I can see you. Yep, there we go. Oh my goodness, it's like almost too easy. Hello. Yeah, it says it's adding you. Yay!
Hey. Oh, Lilia knows how great at technology I am. So
Honestly, that is possibly the most simple ad I've ever done in all the lives I've done. Are you in the dark there?
light on because it's not. I do have lights on, but they're obviously not light enough.
Have you got any more?
Is that
Yeah,
better?
it's a wee bit better, yeah.
That is all of the lights. I have 3 lights on now.
Right. No, that's definitely better. Yeah, that's definitely better. I'm in my aunt's. I've got all the lights on, so it's normally I'm that level of darkness. So
Yeah.
how are you?
Yeah, really good. I'm just going to try and move this light. Sorry.
No problem.
Let's see if that's slightly better. I think
Yeah,
that's.
no, yeah, that's good. That's good. Good stuff. So have you settled back into work after your big trip?
Yeah, I haven't been away.
Oh, I know that feeling. Somebody actually asked me yesterday, how was your holiday? And I was like, what holiday? And then I was like, oh yeah, that 5-week one that I had. I've just forgotten about. It's incredible how quickly you just get back into the swing of things and you forget, don't you?
Absolutely.
Hi Nicola, how you doing? So I've even got the book here because it's funny. I always remember Sondra Barrett telling me when she wrote The Secret of Your Cells that when, after a couple of years, she forgot what she'd written. And people would say, and then she would read it and say, that's actually quite clever. They're actually quite clever. And now I know what she means. I'm obviously,
Back from Jane just before it went to print and reading through it and thinking, God, did I write that? That's quite good.
I am actually quite smart. Yeah. So I am going to, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm going to Helen's for a book festival, reading minds on Saturday
Fantastic.
I'm actually doing 2 presentations on the book. And I said, please make sure they know I'm not the medical herbalist.
Yeah.
Because people start asking me stuff. I'm like, not my remit. That's the clever one in the duo. Although I am learning. I'm learning. I was looking for that photo, my favourite ever photo of you. Remember last year's retreat? Sitting on the wall. And you were, I don't know, probably May or something. Somebody had said something. You were just like that, absolutely killing yourself laughing. It just makes me feel good every time I look at it.
I always think the retreat really embodies, it's just such a laugh. It's so much fun, and we're doing some quite powerful stuff and some big healing work. The whole thing is just such a laugh and so full of joy.
I know, absolutely. And I don't think neither of us really kind of realised it would go that direction. But then I suppose you put the two of us together, it was always in the post. So, because I was thinking that tonight, actually, I thought, it's a really healing retreat, on all levels, because obviously you're connecting to the earth, connecting to the plants. There's a lot of meditation, breath work, cold water, letting go. amazing food, and and again all this laughter, which is really is becoming my very, very favourite protocol. I just spent a few days with a large chunk of my family down in Ellesmere Port, and we just there's a lot of tears. It was my uncle's funeral, but all around that it's just so lucky to have people that you can belly laugh with. And that's why at the festival I really wanted to have comedy there, because I think that, let's start talking about things that are fun to do and easy to do and a joy to do, instead of thinking, you need to do this, stop doing that, and everybody and their granny giving you their tuppence worth about how you should be doing it. Let's just all get together and have fun. So let's talk a little bit about March, because you can see already people are on the wild garlic.
Yeah.
I've actually not seen any yet.
Oh,
Or nettles. Here's some she picked earlier. I think that's what's the
got my ready here.
Fantastic. So is that just been your garden pretty much, is it, or roundabout?
Oh, this is just a local spot just down the road from me here in Lochalan. So I finished up work this afternoon, noticed that it was no longer chucking it down with rain, and got myself down to my local wild garlic spot. So it's just as well I've got the house to myself tonight, because I'm keeping all the vampires away, let's just say.
What did you do with it? Just chop it up.
Yeah, so that I've got a wee bit left there just for using during the week, but I actually made some what I call my wild green bean burgers. So the garlic and loads of like sprouted like pulses like chickpeas and lentils and alfalfa sprouts, and some broad beans from the garden from last year, and just bits and pieces flavouring wise, spices and things.
So
And then
did you sprout all that yourself?
yeah, it's really easy.
Yeah, I
Yourself.
I used to do a lot of sprouting in Malta because it's so easy there. Where do you do it in your shed?
No, just in the kitchen.
Right. I
Yeah.
suppose.
This time of year, my house is quite cold anyway, but so it does take a wee while
Longer.
to do. I kind of usually do, a kind of jam jar full at a time. You just soak you can spout kind of any seeds really.
Uh-huh.
But that time, this batch, I've done chickpeas, lentils, and alfalfa sprouts, and just soak them overnight in some water, strain the water out, and then just keep changing the water every
Mm-hmm.
day. And you can buy sprouting equipment setups, but you don't need that. All you need is a jam jar and a piece of muslin, and that's it really. An elastic band.
Did you know, bean fact, a kidney bean, as soon as you start to sprout it, the vitamin B content goes up 2,000%.
Wow.
Because you're initiating all the power that is going to go into growing the plant. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of sprouting. But obviously, they do take a bit of care. If you don't, even if it is warm, you still need to rinse them a lot so they don't get all smelly.
Yeah.
But in Malta one time, I was just soaking my linseeds. And the next day I went to get them and I just pulled them out and there was just wee trees. It was brilliant. And they look so nice chucked in salads, but making burgers, we should do that actually at the retreat. That could be one of our meals because we've not done that before.
Yeah. Yep. So that's that's what my wild garlic went into tonight. But I mean, I'll be getting on. It's still early days here. I mean, we just had 2 days of snow, so March is always a bit hit and miss. You never know whether it's going to be cold, wet, dry, warm, sunny. Sometimes you're out in a t-shirt, and other days you're out in full waterproofs and a woolly jumper. But the wild garlic usually starts around mid-February here.
Okay. I thought that was quite early, but it's not really.
No. No. Yeah, it's still at the small stage, so you've still got plenty of time to go out and get it. But other things, there are some nettles starting to come through. They're poking their wee nettly heads above the ground. But still very early days with that. But that's something to look out for over the next couple of weeks. Is, you know, the nettles will start to come through. If you're thinking about things that we've written about in the book, the ground elder will be starting to come through as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some popping up just outside my polytunnel, just very small leaves. And then, of course, you'll have things like the dandelion leaves. I've noticed there's some coming through. Daisy leaves as well.
Really?
Yep. Sometimes in mild years you'll actually get daisy leaves right the way through the winter.
I think I remember you saying that before, actually.
Yeah, like I say, I've been in warmer climes this winter, so I haven't been keeping an eye on them, but there's definitely daisy leaves out and about just now.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, things like the comfrey's starting to come through already.
Wow.
And then, you know, later on into April, you'll have things like the plantain will be coming through, and then all the tree leaves will start. So those, you know, the things like birch leaf and young hawthorn leaves, beech leaves, when they're really young, they make really nice additions to salads. As they get older, they get a bit tougher, still edible, but more bitter and tougher. But when they're really young, they're succulent and delicious and nice to add into salads and things. So it's all just about to burst forth. It's that time of year where you can feel the heat rising and the energy building, and you know, you've got that.
Absolutely. And you can see, you know, the life. And I remember when I was living in Canada and the snow started to melt, and it, you know, it was you had a couple of weeks, it was a bit messy, and then suddenly this life sprung up. You're just like, it's just incredible, really, isn't it? And I've not been over at the farm. I've been at my aunt's, so I'm in the town a little bit more, so I'm not quite as in touch with. I was up at the farm last week for a few days, and I'll be going back up next week. But yeah, I'm kind of missing, you know, seeing everything. Because even the few days I've been up, I'm like, oh wow, you know, the difference every time you go.
Yeah.
Even the polytunnel, it's like it's really starting to kick off. I love it. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about. I think, you know, we know now diversity, so I think a really easy way to get a lot of diverse foods. And I'm just looking at the colour of that garlic, the green, you can just tell it's just like powerhouse full of goodness. I mean, really, isn't it? It's just awesome. And so having like these little leaves, you know, you were talking about, you can, you know, you mentioned about 10 there that you're going to be able to get pretty much in your garden, or certainly, you know, roundabout in a park or whatever. So it's a really good way to just even pick some of these and have a handful, you know, with your dinner or your lunch or whatever, or in your smoothie. It just, you know, it's a really great tip for getting the live enzymes, getting all the polyphenols and whatever, all the other fancy dancy names that you have for them. Getting that into the body. And it really is about colour as well, isn't it? You know, the actual colours are telling us, you know, eat me, I'm good for you.
Yeah. And there is something about that, you know, that vibrant green of spring where things just start to come through and they look tasty, you know, they look like, yeah, that delicious green thing that's just young and fresh and coming out the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the plants mentioned are really common. A lot of them would be considered to be weeds. You'll find them all over. Well, you'll find them in rural situations. You'll find them in towns. You'll find them in cities, growing out of cracks in the pavement. Possibly not all of them, but a big selection of our kind of wild medicinal and edible plants are basically what we would consider to be weeds. So they're free. They're there for the taking, and as you say, the more diversity you can get in your diet, the happier your gut microbiome will be, and you know, the healthier your immune system will be.
Mm-hmm. So for March, is it wild garlic, nettles? What's the other one?
In the book,
Uh-huh.
so it's ground elder, nettles, and plantain.
In March.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Ground elder. So I think most of these things are pretty, that's into April, I'm missing it. So nettle, plantain, yeah. Nettles everybody knows about. So let's have a wee look at at plantain.
Yeah.
So do you want to
Ailey's
tell them a little bit about plantain?
yeah, so plantain can be used as a food. I tend to use it more as a medicine, but food-wise, it has a kind of slightly mushroomy flavour. So if you want to add any, if you've got a dish that you want to make that you want to get some greens into, but you also want that slightly mushroomy edge to it, then plantain's quite a good choice. So the leaves and the seed heads have that kind of flavour. You can use it raw in food. But as a medicine, it's fantastic for as an antihistamine. It helps to bring the histamine response down. It's really good. It's one of the best things for bites and stings as a first aid plant. So great for if we live in this neck of the woods for midgy bites.
Yeah, is
And
that the one you said you can put in the bath? So if your kids were bitten, you can just pick that and put it in the bath with them, and it's
so
going to help.
make strong plantain tea, and then pour that into a kind of coolish bath, and fantastic if you've got that, really covered in midgy bites, kind of camping in the boat kind of very good stings, wasp stings, nettle stings, and it's a really common plant, so you'll find it all over the place.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's also very good for things like sinus problems, and it's very kind of soothing and healing to the mucous membranes as well. So, if you've got like an inflamed gut, inflamed digestive system, urinary tract, digestive system, all membranes where I like to call it your slimy skin. So it's like the inside of your mouth, all membranes that kind of come into contact with the outside, but they're kind of more like inside tissue. Plantain is really good for reducing inflammation in those tissues. So it kind of reinforces surfaces, so skin and mucous membranes, that kind of thing. It's also very mineral rich, so it's a very good choice to add in if you're trying to boost your kind of vitamin and mineral content in your diet as well.
Would you make a tea with it?
Absolutely, yep. You can use it as I've got a mix that I call Marvelous Minerals, and it's got things like plantain and red clover and borage and nettles and dandelions, all the mineral rich herbs in it. So
That's a great idea.
yeah.
So, and then we have ground elder.
Yep. So this is a picture.
And that's super abundant up with us.
Yeah. So most gardeners will know this plant because it does like to take over. And if you go onto the farm at Barmolach, there's a whole kind of bank of it where it just goes, it's completely taken over an entire grassy bank. And actually, it's starting to take over one of the areas in my garden, my lawn, which is not really a lawn, it's a wildflower meadow. So yeah, it can really take over patches of garden, and it's very difficult to get rid of because it sends out little runners underneath the soil. And so if you try digging it out, every time one of these runners breaks, it just puts up a new plant. But it is one of the most delicious weeds out there. Its flavour reminds me a little bit of somewhere between like celery and parsley. It's that carrot family plant. So yeah, it's got that really kind of savoury flavour. So it's great for adding into soups, sauces, anywhere where you want to just add that like celery kind of flavour. And sometimes, because it is best at this time of year when it's just starting to come out of the ground, when the leaves are quite vibrant green, young, slightly folded over and waxy. And if you pick it when it's like that, you can actually just chop it up and freeze it and use it, later on in the year when it's maybe not quite as fresh and green. Sometimes we'll get a second kind of flush of kind of into the autumn, maybe September or something like that. And especially if if you cut it back, you will get a second flush of growth. But really, the spring is the best time for it, and it's such a great cleansing plant as well. One of its old traditional names was goutweed, so it was actually used to treat arthritis. And that there's quite a few plants in the carrot family that have that action as well. So yeah, so it's a great spring cleanser. And if we think about what we want to be doing in the spring, we're shedding off that, the winter layers and all the stuff we've accumulated over the winter. It's time to get rid of all those excess wastes, and that's what nature provides for us at that time of year, all the great cleansers.
Yeah, and bring the life energy, the new energy in. Yeah, so in our, well, obviously we've got the Wild Medicine Festival coming up, which you're not going to make because of all the babies that are going to be born. Yeah. So tell us a bit about that, what's happening at the farm.
Yeah, so the smallholding here in Lochhallen, Easter has arrived early. The hens are laying like mad, so we've got delicious golden eggs at the moment. Yeah, because we give our hens seaweed as well, so the yolks are like, they almost look fake. They're that orange.
Is that right? What's that? What makes them orange?
So seaweed, and they eat the sandhoppers out of the seaweed, and it gives them loads and loads of nutrients and like essential fatty acids and things. So it makes the yolks really, really orange. And yeah, I just can't buy eggs from the supermarket because they're just not eggs in my opinion.
And there's
Me and my food
shortage. Did you not know?
Of eggs, not in mine.
No, we're the same up at Barmolach. They've started laying again, and one of the hens is actually sitting on some.
Oh yeah.
So that's nice, though, because it's just yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I just love the farm eggs, and our chickens. We've moved them, and they're just so happy, and they're looking so healthy, and because sometimes some of the wee girl chickens look a wee bit scrawny and attacked, but they're looking great. So it's lovely to see all that life coming in, and also getting the eggs is just fantastic. Yeah, so
we've got 4 at the moment, so we're patiently waiting. They'll be hitting any time from 2 weeks yesterday. They'll be kidding. So one of them's starting to show milk, and she's looking very big. Like looking at her, thinking, how many babies are in there?
How many could they have? Could it be 2?
Well, they can have 2. Most commonly, it's 2, but they can 5. It's very, very rare that they do. We've never had more than 2. So, but this talking about, this is her first time kidding. So we've got 2 that are first time kidders. So that's a bit exciting. And we've got the sheep as well. We've got Hebrideans and Shetland sheep that are in lamb. So they'll be probably around the same time as the goats, so it'll be all go from. So this is the calm before the storm this week, I think. And then it'll be planting all the garlic already, and planting all the potatoes, and we've also got to reskin our polytunnel, which is a really big job. So that's all weeks, and then it'll be all hands on deck, and get everything planted. And then I've got her at the end of March, so happy day.
Is Quentin back?
Yeah, so we've got 2 volunteers, Heather and Quentin,
Heather and Quentin,
yeah, they joined us in July last year, and they spent 3 months travelling in Australia over Christmas, and they just arrived back last week, so we've got our trusty helpers, thank goodness.
Yeah, great. What happened to the polytunnel? Was it the wind, or was it just age?
Just it's age, wear and tear. We've been looking at it for the past probably about 5 or 6 years, thinking, we'll get another year out of it. But it's just had so much kind of there's various holes, and yeah, it's starting to wear. So, and all the wood that holds the cover, the membrane in place, is rotten as well. So, it's time for a change.
The job, it's a job. So, but you are carving out 4 days for us to do. How many? What is this? Our fifth retreat now. Scotland's Wild Medicine retreat. So, that's it's the weekend after the festival. So that's what, the 22nd, 21st, 21st to 25th, I think it is. I should know the dates. It's round about the time. It's the week after the festival anyway, because some of our trusted wild medicine fanatics are coming to the festival and staying on and just coming up to the retreat, which is great. Yeah, so we've got May storytelling down at the festival as well. She's getting some new stories going on, I believe. So let's talk a little bit about what we do at the retreat. Well, obviously from my perspective, you're doing a lot of letting go, breath work, and the river is there as well. But talk about, I think people know really more what I do. You talk about the things that you do when we're there.
Yeah, so what we normally do is we'll have a walk around the farm and some of the surrounding area and look at all the wild plants that are growing there. I'll talk a lot about their medicinal properties and their food uses, some of the stories and folklore around those plants and how that relates to, you know, modern uses and things like that as well. And then we also do there's always a practical session, so that'll be something around, we're definitely doing something around fermentation, and particularly looking at wild foods and fermentation as well, with some other practical making sessions too. And we'll be doing some intuitive work with the herbs as well. So that's kind of getting to know the herbs on a deeper level. So working on a kind of meditative level with the plants too. So yeah, so that's in a nutshell the kind of things that I tend to offer at the retreat. But they do all work.
These things take time. I mean, it always blows me away when we go. We basically walk around the garden, and you've just told us about all the medicines that are like and foods that are right there. It's like, and 2 hours have passed, and you're like, what? It's fantastic. And what was a huge hit at the last retreat was the hot tub on through the day, and then the river, hot tub, river, hot tub, river.
Full body contrast bathing.
Yeah. Everybody loved that. And we were pretty lucky again with the weather, weren't we? We had some days of sunshine, which you just got to know in Argyll. You never know. Even in one day, you never know what you're going to get. So, and then obviously you're a chef, you know, the food that we managed to garner from the garden, from the polytunnel. You bring stuff down from your small holding, the goat's milk and cheese and kefir and a lot of the cool things that you make, and also the seaweeds, because I think that's you know, more and more we're understanding the power of seaweed for hormone health and God knows what all. You can't just affect one area of the body without affecting everything, but certainly from the iodine perspective, it's a brilliant way. And plus it's just tasty, isn't it? All the minerals are.
Yeah, so there's always a wild twist on the food, and there's always food from the small holdings and the farm, and you know, real proper live healthy and delicious food. So that's, yeah, I think we're both pretty passionate about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's just a phenomenal setting. Rustic as we know, but it's just it's raw nature. It's just spectacular. So yeah, well, that's great. I think obviously we'll, you know, April's a great time because, you know, there's lots of things that people can recognise, because I think it is very much, wild garlic's easy, right? Because it's easy to be identified. I think nettles, you know, that's my big favourite plant since I really started to understand the value in every single thing about them. You know, and my mum used to say that my granny would go out and cut the tops off the first nettles and put them in the soup.
Yeah.
So there was a knowing there, you know, about the power and, you know, and also from making string and garments from them. I mean, it's incredible what we're starting to uncover now, and all these ancient skills and crafts that are coming back. It's just fantastic to see. What do you do with the sheep from the sheep from your wool, the wool from your sheep even?
Well, we've used some. Well, we've actually for the past couple of years we've been saving it up because we've been building an extra room onto the side of the house, and we've used some of it as an insulation for the.
Yes, that's right. How's that going?
Aye, slowly. You can imagine. I decided to take 6 weeks off in the winter. Yeah, there. It's a work in progress. Been doing with the wool for the past couple of years anyway, but I have done some spinning and weaving and dyeing and things. In fact, I can go and get you another prop if we've got time.
Yeah, yeah, we have.
So this is a shawl which is made with Hebridean and Cheviot wool. So it's wool that I'd washed and spun, and then I've dyed some of it with lungwort lichen, so the orange
Wow.
lichen, and then my mum knitted it for me.
I was going to be so impressed if you'd knitted that.
I don't do numbers.
But that's amazing. Your mum knitted that for you. Oh, that's a special thing to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice because we both put the kind of work into it together. So
yeah, I found the spinning. Have you got an actual spinning wheel?
yeah, I'm not going to get that out because it's
No, but we were doing it. I was doing it with Alex Juliet and just you know, doing the actual, what do you call it, the spindle thing where you just twist it, which is actually quite a therapeutic thing to do. I've never actually tried the spinning wheel. And then I started knitting a scarf. It's black wool, so it's great. It's just it's quite easy.
Yeah. No, the wheels are really nice. I have to say, I don't make enough time to do it, to be honest. But it is a really nice thing to do if you have the time, and nice to sit by the fire in a winter's evening and spin away.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What we liked when Alex did the spinning at the farm, it was again beautiful weather. We all sat around that big table outside and just blethered.
Yeah.
Well, you were, you know, a bit like what we did at your place with the net, making the string with the nettles. It's just a really nice community thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
Right. Okay, hun, I will let you go to your bed because I know that you're up at stupid o'clock in the morning running all the millions of things that you do. So we'll just put the links for the retreat. And if anybody anybody's watching, wants to join us, you can just click on the link and you can have your own room if you want, or if you're happy to share, we'll pair you up with somebody else that's coming. So it'd be great to see you there.
Yeah,
and I'm probably not going to see you until then anyway.
Probably not. So all the best with the festival. I'll be there with you in spirit. Even.
Yeah, Amanda's filling in for you. So, and she's a very, very good second chance. She's awesome. So she's going to do a performance on the Friday night, and then she's going to do a foraging storytelling walk. So it's great.
Brilliant. Oh.
Yeah. Okay, hun. Lovely to see you, and I'll chat to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.